This video is on how to input an asymmetrical pattern into the Garment Designer on the 970. It's slightly different in that you don't put in the half width, you have to put in the full width to do an asymmetrical pattern. And you also have to do a few calculations because a front of a cardigan isn't half the width of a back, it's half the width of the back less the bands. So I've done the calculations. If anybody wants any help on how to do those calculations, let me know. So to input this, click along to Garment Design, which is the one with the little jumper and the drawing on it. Press enter. The first three are for stitch patterns, and these three are for garment design. That's for drawing it, that's for altering one if you want to change the shape, and that's for deleting individual or all of them. Go back to the drawing. It gives you a number which I advise you to write down as to what it is you're inputting, because I certainly can't remember what it is, especially when you've got 63 of them. The first icon flashing is for a symmetrical design like a garment back. This one is for asymmetrical patterns. Now at stage 1, it's asking for line number. The line number, because we're going straight across, will be number 1, and it's asking me which direction we want it to go. Only got one choice there. It's now asking how long do we want this line, basically width-wise, and as I said, you don't put in the half width like you normally would do for a symmetrical pattern. You put the whole width in, and the whole width of this, according to the pattern, is 28 centimeters. It now wants the next stage and the line number, and we're going up to the V-neck now, because as I said, you go round anti-clockwise. So line number, stage 2 is line number 2. And it's asking which direction, straight up, and it's asking how long do we want it. And again, according to the pattern, that is 44. Stage 3 is where we're going to do the V of the V-neck. So we want the slope to be number 3. It's asking which direction. Well, obviously we want that direction. And how far over do we want this V-neck to come? Well, it's going up to the shoulder, and as I've carefully worked it out, it needs to come in by 7.5 centimeters. And how long do we want this V to be? Well, according to the pattern, it's 24 centimeters for the armhole plus 3 centimeters for the shoulder shaping. So that's 27 centimeters. Stage 4 is now the shoulder, and we want the shoulder to slope down, so we're going for line 4. It's asking me which direction, so we want to click over because we want it to come downwards. It's asking how wide is this shoulder. Again, according to the pattern, it is 15 centimeters. And it's asking how deep is this shoulder slope, and the pattern says it is 3 centimeters. We're now going to input the armhole. So the line to use is line 11. It's asking me what direction. Well, we don't want it going upwards, we want it coming down. It's this one. How wide are we going to make this armhole? Again, according to my calculations, it's 5.5 centimeters. And the depth of the armhole is 24. And that's now showing you what the curve of the armhole actually measures. Right, we're nearly done. As you can see, a vague shape there. We've now got to join the line downwards to the bottom. So we now want line number 2. We want it to go downwards, and it's asking for the length. As the V-neck and the armhole are on the same level, we put in 44. And if you've got all your calculations right, it should come up with end. And your asymmetrical pattern is now entered. Press end. You then click along to positioning. You ignore the stitch pattern ones and you go to the garment positioning. This is where you need to remember the number. It's now asking you for your tension square measurements. I've done a normal 40 by 60, so we'll go for that one. 20 by 30 is if you were using chunky. I often do my chunky patterns on here and then write down what the instructions are. Or the other one, which is on 10 centimetres. But these 40 to 60 that you are putting in, it is not what the green ruler will tell you. It's asking you how many centimetres your tension square measures. So this is one I put in earlier. You can change it. We'll say that your 40 stitches measures 14 centimetres, and your rows, your 60 rows measures, oh, I don't know, 16 centimetres. This is just a guess, just to give you a rough idea. And it's asking you what pattern number do you want to apply that to. 63, because we've just put that one in. It's now asking you which side do you want to, do you want to knit your left side or the right side first? It really doesn't matter. We'll have that one. It's now telling you that the garment position is 40 needles either side of 0. Click along to knitting. And as you can see, it's telling you to cast on 40-40. Put the stop screen on, and I hope you can still see this. If you put the stop screen on, and we'll click up, she says, we'll click up as many rows as I can. This is your knitting, and you're still on 40-40-40. Which is what you can do if you want to, do your own, write the actual instructions out rather than reading them off the screen. Now that's just beeped at me, so let me go back to, right. That's beeped at me. We're on row 166. If we go up another row, can you see that the display has changed? And according to this, you now need 39 stitches on the left and 40 stitches on the right. And as you go up, you will see the left stitches. It's telling you to decrease as you are doing the V-neck. Might not be the V-neck. Yeah, it's showing you 39 on the V-neck, sorry, and the left is the armhole because we're doing that side. And you can see the numbers changing. They're continuing to go in on the left because that's the armhole. Trying to speed this up a bit. As you can see, we're coming up to the top. You've got your shape there. Coming up to the top, we're just about coming up to where we will now start the shoulder slope. It's beeped at you to tell you there's a change coming. So you need to cast off again on the left and on the right to 21. On the left 18, 13, 9, 6 and 20 on the V-neck. And then over to right 3, right 6, right 10. And that's to tell you that your next row is your last row. And knitting completed. You've done 267 rows and you should have 19 stitches left. Not 19 stitches left, you should have sort of the 1 stitch left. But that's your shoulder completed. And then you would go back in and you would go back into your positioning. The values you put in before will stay in. 63 again, and you now want the opposite shape. Back into knitting, and you carry on doing that side. Hope that's made sense.